The Golden Globes are the annual grand celebration of the seventh art, dictating future cinematic trends amidst red carpets and heartfelt speeches. Every year, Hollywood collectively holds its breath, awaiting these golden statuettes that are as glamorous as they are pivotal for the careers of those who receive them. While some like to think of this ceremony as merely a warm up act for the Oscars, its major influence on studio strategies, public enthusiasm, and the emergence of new talents is undeniable. Beneath the champagne and extravagant outfits, however, lie deeper issues that reveal the economic and cultural dynamics shaping the global audiovisual landscape. In today's episode, we'll dive into the behind the scenes of the 82nd edition, revisiting its most striking moments and unpacking what these victories and speeches say about our times. From standout works by visionary filmmakers like Nolan, Villeneuve, and Gerwig to the critical receptions that spark debate, we'll explore the twists and turns of an ever-evolving industry. Following that, we'll examine the role of modern directors who are breaking the mold and imposing their distinctive visions, before delving into auteur films where creativity triumphs over convenience. Lastly, we'll step into the colorful world of romantic comedies, those timeless remedies for daily gloom, which continue to reinvent themselves to resonate with an ever more diverse and demanding audience. Get ready for a full course of sharp humor and insightful analysis. Our goal, to look beyond the glitz and glamour to understand how cinema, despite its festive appearances, remains an art deeply influenced by socioeconomic forces, technological shifts, and universal psychological aspirations. So fasten your seatbelts, pour yourself a coffee or a little drink. We won't judge, and let us guide you through this exciting dive into the heart of the Golden Globes and everything they represent for the cinematic machine. It's time for an adventure where wit meets reflection, and every revelation about the industry reminds us why we love the seventh art. The 82nd Golden Globes felt like Hollywood pressing pause on its recent turbulence, embracing the glamour and excitement of its most prestigious events for one evening. Following a period marred by the pandemic and strikes that upended schedules, audiences, professionals, and media converged in an atmosphere teetering between celebration and reinvention. The laughter, applause, and echoes of acceptance speeches honored artistic achievements while subtly exposing deeper dynamics. Pressures from new financing models, a push for greater cultural representation, and a yearning to reforge strong emotional connections with audiences. Many commentators quickly highlighted the Golden Globes' role as a precursor to the Oscars, despite its more relaxed approach. Traditional studios view the ceremony as a chance to validate strategies ahead of the following month's Academy Awards, while streaming platforms see it as a critical showcase to legitimize their ambitious projects in an industry historically hesitant to grant them equal footing. Critics from outlets like 42 Mag and Yahoo News noted the extent of Hollywood's transformation, with massive budgets deployed by Netflix and Prime Now rivaling, if not eclipsing, those of legacy studios. This reshuffling of power dynamics evokes mixed reactions. Some filmmakers praise the financial resources now available, while others worry about the potential standardization of creative works, fearing everything will be measured against short-term profitability. In this context, the night took on the air of a grand marketplace for trophies, where big-budget blockbusters rubbed shoulders with indie gems. The standout example was undoubtedly The Brutalist, which clinched Best Motion Picture, drama beating out more mainstream contenders. Adrien Brody and Brody mainstream contenders. Adrien Brody and Brody, named Best Actor for the same film, delivered a heartfelt speech celebrating the ability of small, passionate teams to craft original stories. This victory, as reported by CNUS, underscored a creative renaissance, with audiences gravitating toward bold projects that offer something beyond formulaic entertainment. This desire for originality also reflects a search for identity in a world saturated with imagery. The Golden Globes, with their media spotlight, act as a springboard for productions that might otherwise struggle to reach mainstream audiences. The ceremony also saw the triumphant sweep of Emilia Pérez, a French comedy that took home 4 awards, including Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy, and Best Foreign Language Film. Beyond setting a record for a non-English film, this work sparked widespread enthusiasm thanks to its originality and the powerful performance of Carla Sofia Gasson. Her speech, covered by Yahoo News, deeply moved the audience as she denounced the discrimination faced by transgender individuals. This moment was widely celebrated as a symbol of progress in an industry still hesitant to spotlight stories and actors outside conventional norms. Her words highlighted the urgent need for cinema to reflect the world's diversity, not just as an ethical imperative, but as a response to audiences demanding to see their realities and multiplicity represented on screen. Beyond these awards, the evening was filled with moments blending emotion and levity, reminding everyone that the Golden Globes remain a celebration where spontaneity and humanity shine through. Demi Moore, for the first time in her career, won a Golden Globe for Best Actress in a comedy for The Substance. As reported by 42 Mag, she appeared deeply moved, reflecting on a career marked by ups and downs. This late yet well-deserved recognition highlighted the resilience needed to stay relevant in a fiercely competitive industry, where rising stars can quickly eclipse established ones. Her personal triumph echoed Hollywood's long-standing mythology of reinvention, offering audiences a hopeful narrative of triumph over adversity. Among the quirky moments, Kieran Culkin made waves when he accepted the award for Best Actor in a comedy for A Real Pain. Seemingly buoyed by the festive atmosphere, and as some media reported, a few tequila shots, his offbeat speech thanked his family, a pizzeria, and his Mexican food guardian angels. The resulting laughter reminded everyone that, despite its seriousness, the competition benefits from genuine moments of candor and spontaneity. Far from undermining the ceremony's image, this humor humanized an event often criticized for its rigidity. According to CNUS, social media quickly picked up on the anecdote, underscoring the public's irresistible fascination with anything that breaks Hollywood's overly polished veneer. Later, Seth Rogen and Catherine O'Hara injected fresh energy into the event with a self-deprecating exchange about their Canadian roots, a Canada off that delighted. The audience, as detailed by People.com, this lighthearted moment fit perfectly into an evening hosted by Nikki Glaser, the first woman to solo host the Golden Globes. Her sharp and unflinching opening monologue tackled delicate topics like minority, underrepresentation, and abuses of power, resonating with viewers tired of sanitized rhetoric in such grand spectacles. Social media responses applauded her boldness, reflecting a growing demand for unfiltered direct dialogue that challenges the status quo. In the realm of the unexpected, Zendaya's appearance wearing what seemed to be an engagement ring didn't go unnoticed. Rumors about her relationship with Tom Holland ignited, fueled by photographers' snapshots and the actress's silence on the matter. Tabloids like the New York Post pounced on the opportunity to speculate, illustrating once again that even at an event celebrating cinematic excellence, the public's fascination with stars' private lives remains ever present, a blend of intrigue and psychological projection that defines the bond between celebrities and their fans. Meanwhile, Vin Diesel stirred minor controversy with a thinly veiled jab at his past feud with Dwayne Johnson, proving that personal disputes sometimes spill onto the stage under the watchful eye of cameras. This whirlwind of excitement unfolded as the industry continues to recover from recent writers and actors' strikes that stalled numerous productions. Major studios, as reported by Variety, are striving to maintain profitability while adapting to new distribution models and increasing calls for equity, both in storytelling and production teams. Projects once put on hold are slowly coming back to life, spurred by the interest of streaming platforms eager for original content to captivate global audiences. This precarious balance between traditional and streaming ecosystems makes the Golden Globes an annual reflection of an industry navigating massive financial stakes. Simultaneously, the push for greater thematic and human diversity mirrors a profound societal shift, with audiences expecting the big screen to illuminate contemporary realities while preserving the magic of escapism. Psychologically, the enduring allure of such ceremonies cannot be overlooked. Despite the overwhelming abundance of available content, audiences remain captivated by the award's modern fairy tale quality, connecting with failure faces and extraordinary journeys. The triumphs, speeches, humorous blunders, and emotional moments offer a welcome escape from daily concerns, nurturing a collective imagination steeped in glamour, achievement, and personal reinvention. This cathartic dimension partly explains why viewership remains robust, with audiences tuning in for unscripted quips, joyful tears, and headline-making declarations, bridging the gap between the screen and their own lives. Ultimately, 82nd Golden Globes reaffirmed their status as an essential Hollywood barometer. Beyond the accolades, the ceremony provided a snapshot of the industry's tensions and promises as it strives to innovate while preserving its legendary aura. From the crowning of independent films to the emergence of new talents, from speeches advocating diversity to moments of sharp humor, the evening testified to cinema's enduring ability to adapt, unite, and move. For some, the Golden Globes may remain a warm-up to the Oscars, but they are undoubtedly a spectacle capable of reflecting Hollywood's exuberance, anxieties, and boundless creativity, all in a single evening. Christopher Nolan, Denis Villeneuve, and Greta Gerwig may seem like an unlikely trio at first glance, given how different their respective styles are. Yet each has established themselves as an unshakable force in contemporary cinema, drawing massive audiences while consistently pushing the artistic boundaries of their craft. This unofficial alliance of creative minds was brought into the spotlight recently with the explosive success of Oppenheimer at the box office, the fervent anticipation surrounding Dune, Part 2, and the blockbuster triumph of Barbie. Many commentators, including Variety, have pointed to the emergence of a new Hollywood model, one where filmmakers with distinct visions are entrusted with large-scale projects. It's becoming increasingly common for distributors and studios to invest heavily in directors who manage to combine depth with entertainment, inviting audiences into imaginative spaces that are anything but formulaic. It's fascinating to see how Christopher Nolan has carved out a space for his cerebral storytelling within the traditional blockbuster circuit. Known for his labyrinthine narratives, breathtaking visual effects, and unmistakable visual style, Nolan's ability to immerse audiences in complex temporal constructions, seen in works like Inception or Interstellar, has cemented his reputation as a mainstream auteur. With Oppenheimer, he delved into the moral weight of a scientist who contributed to the creation of a devastating weapon. This vertiginous theme, tackled with masterful suspense, kept audiences on the edge of their seats despite the story's dense historical backdrop. Packed IMAX screenings and box office numbers, as highlighted by The Hollywood Reporter, reassured investors that high-concept cinema could still be a profitable endeavor. Nolan's skill in managing enormous budgets without succumbing to simplicity has revived interest in films that both challenge and entertain, sparking rich discussions long after the credits roll. Denis Villeneuve, on the other hand, has solidified his place as an architect of modern science fiction. His sensory masterpiece, Arrival, and his daring revival of the Blade Runner universe remain etched in cinematic history. Now at the helm of the Dune saga, Villeneuve has transformed this cult classic novel, once deemed unadaptable, into an epic cinematic experience. This bold choice intrigued and alarmed fans who feared fidelity to the source material might falter. Yet Villeneuve successfully brought the sprawling stakes of Arrakis to life, supported by a stellar cast and inspiring visual scope. Critics from outlets like Scene US and Deadline lauded both the conceptual depth and the nuanced portrayal of characters grappling with power, resource obsession, and ecological fragility. The promise of the second installment has only heightened expectations, as audiences seem eager for immersive entertainment that interrogates humanity's future. Studios have recognized the growing appetite for rich, world-building narratives that transport viewers to uncharted realms while offering subtle reflections on contemporary concerns. Then there's Greta Gerwig, who has made waves by reimagining stories often associated with lighter, less complex themes. After modernizing literary classics like Little Women, she took on the world's most iconic doll with Barbie. Many expected nothing more than a bubblegum pop flick. Instead, Gerwig embedded a profound commentary on feminism and the pressures of imposed perfection beneath the candy-colored surface. On social media, debates erupted about how this reimagining tackled sensitive topics such as body objectification and societal expectations on women. A younger demographic, in particular, resonated with Gerwig's approach, which diverged significantly from the expected commercial adaptation. Box office numbers, reported by Box Office Mojo, exceeded even the most optimistic forecasts. Discussions around the film's message demonstrate that it's possible to captivate a wide audience while delivering a subtext that transcends summer entertainment. Collectively, these three directors exemplify a rare alignment between studios' willingness to back ambitious projects, audiences' appetite for thought-provoking narratives, and filmmakers' refusal to compromise their creative freedom. Nolan, Villeneuve, and Gerwig have found their audience precisely because they masterfully blend artistic rigor with accessibility. Streaming platforms, increasingly involved in negotiating distribution rights and co-productions, have recognized the power of this formula, providing substantial resources to support these exceptional visions. Critics widely agree that this current climate, both uncertain and invigorating, fosters the creation of works destined to leave an indelible mark on cultural memory. For screenwriters, it's a breath of fresh air, enabling them to craft intricate narratives without fearing vetoes from risk-averse producers. Test screenings have shown time and again that audiences enjoy being treated as active participants, capable of grappling with moral dilemmas or reveling in extraordinary visual experiences. The enthusiasm surrounding the worlds of Nolan, Villeneuve, and Gerwig also signals that the public isn't just looking for predictable stories or endless sequels. They're eager to support projects that spark conversations beyond the theater. Online debates highlight how a film is no longer simply consumed, but dissected, reevaluated, and even elevated as a symbol of broader cultural movements. Each new release by one of these directors generates a collective buzz, as if audiences are waiting for a call to dive into a fresh universe that challenges and inspires global discourse. Once confined to niche forums, discussions about complex storytelling have now found a broader audience, drawing people together around works that inspire both fervent admiration and spirited critique. Debates over Oppenheimer's budget or the casting choices in Dune, Part 2 intertwine with deeper conversations, like the societal implications of Barbie's themes. Theaters have regained their place as spaces of communal experience, not just for the joy of collective viewing, but for the exchange of ideas that follows. YouTube creators, podcasters, and bloggers eagerly engage, knowing that in-depth analysis now appeals to a diverse audience eager to unravel the layers of a narrative or its symbolism. Directors sometimes join the fun, dropping subtle hints in interviews while leaving enough mystery for viewers to craft their interpretations. Ultimately, the growing popularity of these three figures reflects a widespread desire to return to the idea that cinema can be both a mainstream pastime and a reflective experience. Each new project by Nolan, Villeneuve, or Gerwig crystallizes a particular moment in time, balancing aspirations for epic storytelling, ethical exploration, and intelligent entertainment. Financial backers are often reassured, knowing these successes generate long-lasting buzz, attracting both loyal fans and newcomers intrigued by the filmmakers' reputations. Media coverage amplifies the excitement, and cultural marketing industries ride the wave, selling everything from tie-in merchandise to books and exhibitions. Studios capitalize on the event factor, understanding that a film-turned cultural phenomenon fuels the entire pipeline, from box office to streaming and international sales. Whether it's exploring human consciousness through the lens of time, reinterpreting the rules of science fiction, or sparking debates about gender representation, these directors offer far more than momentary distractions. Their work often carries a nearly activist quality, encouraging audiences to think deeply while being thoroughly entertained. The buzz generated at every premiere isn't a fleeting trend. It reflects a collective enthusiasm for cinema that reconnects entertainment with sharp perspectives on the world. This rare intersection of critical and commercial success feels so impactful because it restores faith in Hollywood's ability to champion singular visions. Ultimately, Nolan, Villeneuve, and Gerwig don't just create great films. They bring together communities of viewers eager to share unforgettable experiences, where emotion, introspection, and escapism seamlessly coexist. Wes Anderson and Paul Thomas Anderson may share the same last name, but their cinematic styles could not be more different. Yet they are often grouped together under the category of modern auteur filmmakers because both have developed such distinct creative signatures that they inspire admiration and, at times, confusion. The former, a master of pastel palettes and meticulously composed frames, creates theatrical aesthetics where every shot feels like an animated storybook. The latter, grounded in raw realism, explores emotionally intense territory, using tension and silence to unveil deeply flawed characters. Though their worlds seem as far apart as the moon and the sun, they share a common goal: to provide a cinematic experience that transcends mere visuals, immersing the audience in a self-contained world where visual and narrative coherence becomes a gateway to deeper introspection. Countless articles have attempted to capture the enchantment of Wes Anderson's universe. Whether discussing the Grand Budapest Hotel, Isle of Dogs, or The French Dispatch, the hallmarks remain consistent: symmetrical framing, vibrant color palettes, and eccentric characters brimming with sharp dialogue. This hyper-controlled approach to filmmaking attracts audiences seeking an aesthetic refuge, where every detail, from costumes to set design to even the tiniest props, is crafted with precision. Analyses like those published in The Guardian emphasize that, in an age of constant chaos, Anderson's whimsical microcosms provide a sense of comfort, nostalgia, and even an illusion of stability. Audiences flock to theaters or streaming platforms to experience his unique vision, eager for a striking contrast to the bombastic spectacle of blockbusters. The industry, well aware of Anderson's cult-like following, willingly supports the artist despite his relatively modest budgets. Exhibitors see his films as cultural assets that enhance programming diversity, while festivals often recognize his work as award-winning gems. This blend of factors ensures that nearly every year, a Wes Anderson film becomes a ritualistic event for his devoted audience, who delight in his brand of meticulous, almost regressive perfectionism. Paul Thomas Anderson, on the other hand, operates in an entirely different register, yet commands a similar impact. His filmography, featuring titles like There Will Be Blood, The Master, and Licorice Pizza, is populated by characters who carry unresolved emotional scars. His style emphasizes slow tracking shots, subtle soundscapes, and performances of rare intensity. Dialogues, often minimalist, leave room for silences that speak volumes about his protagonist's complex inner worlds. Audience reactions frequently highlight a fascination with the heavy atmospheres his stories evoke, as well as the electrifying performances from actors like Daniel Day-Lewis and Joaquin Phoenix. Industry sources such as Variety have underscored how Anderson's films enjoy a strong international reputation for their singular exploration of the human, soul delving into internal contradictions without conforming to mainstream formulas. Producers, recognizing the critical acclaim that accompanies his work, see his grounded realism as an opportunity to secure prestigious awards. The mystique and, at times, unsettling nature of his narratives adds an extra layer of allure, prompting engaged audiences to discuss and dissect his films long after the credits roll, each story acting as a mirror reflecting society's unspoken truths. Despite their radically different approaches, these two filmmakers share the same goal: to construct cohesive worlds that, whether through artifice or realism, speak deeply to the human condition. Wes Anderson's fans find in his pastel universe a haven of originality, a subtle escape from homogenization, while Paul Thomas Anderson's admirers celebrate the raw sincerity that emerges from his stories, enriched by universally resonant themes. Financially, though their films may not generate the staggering profits of major franchises, there is ample demand to sustain projects where artistic integrity outweighs commercial considerations. Investors recognize that the enduring careers of these directors come with a loyal audience, and their works are known to age well, generating steady income through streaming platforms and coveted collector's editions, even with modest initial budgets. The risk-reward ratio remains appealing to those betting on the value of auteur cinema, often synonymous with festival accolades and international recognition. Their films also interrogate what unites or divides individuals, exploring how history and belonging shape relationships. Wes Anderson's Solitary. Eccentric characters are more than adorable caricatures. They highlight the challenges of forming genuine connections in a sometimes hostile world while celebrating the makeshift communities that arise around. Shared Passions. Paul Thomas Anderson, by contrast, delves into dysfunctional families, ambiguous mentors, and fractured friendships to unearth themes of legacy, power, and obsession, painting subtle but incisive portraits of American society. In both cases, these reflections resonate because they awaken universal emotions and questions beneath layers of aesthetic charm or gritty realism. Animated discussions on social media or in film clubs reaffirm just how deeply these distinctive worlds, for all their apparent peculiarities, resonate with our desires, fears, and contradictions. In an industry often dominated by efficiency and profitability, both Andersons offer a reassuring reminder that personal styles can not only survive, but thrive. Studios treat these directors like rare jewels, enhancing their own reputations for supporting creative diversity. Audiences, meanwhile, relish the chance to experience works conceived as singular journeys where nothing is left to chance, and every moment is designed to surprise or provoke thought. Between the quaint poetry of Moonrise Kingdom and the psychological intensity of Magnolia, there lies an ocean of differences, yet also a shared understanding: the refusal to deliver films whose essence can be captured in a 10-second trailer. These are movies that leave viewers feeling as though they've wandered through a living art gallery, where every scene contributes to a rich, layered composition filled with meaning and nuance. The growing enthusiasm for these two auteurs reflects a broader hunger for something beyond formulaic sequels and hyper-marketed reboots. Whether one loves or dislikes their styles, it's impossible to deny their contribution to cinema's diversity, or the passion they ignite among cinephiles and casual viewers alike, all seeking something truly unique. International festivals from Cannes to Berlin and Venice consistently showcase their work, aware of the fervor it inspires, even when their artistic choices draw criticism for being too baroque or too bleak. This very capacity to polarize keeps cultural debates alive, a vital counterbalance to the risk of cinematic uniformity. Ultimately, both Wes Anderson and Paul Thomas Anderson safeguard, in their own ways, the role of unapologetic creativity within an industry so often driven by data and algorithms. For audiences, these experiences become more than just entertainment. They are opportunities to marvel and to question, extending the magic far beyond the screen. It's hard to talk about romantic comedies without a flicker of nostalgia sparking at the mere mention of Love, Actually, or When Harry Met Sally. Long considered a cozy refuge where characters stumble over their own shoelaces before declaring their love in the rain, rom-coms offer the comforting notion that, in the end, everything works out just fine. However, the genre has not been immune to the upheavals of an industry in perpetual renewal, nor to the evolving expectations of an audience increasingly attuned to the representations it consumes. For a time, romantic comedies were pushed aside by blockbusters featuring superheroes and colossal dinosaurs. Then streaming platforms, led by Netflix, brought them back into the limelight. This revival was epitomized by the breakout success of To All the Boys I've Loved Before. Who would have thought that a story about a shy teenager writing unsent love letters to her crushes would become a cultural phenomenon? The financial results proved that studios didn't need superpowers or explosions to generate solid returns. They just needed a sincere, refreshing story. Social media, the ultimate barometer of our digital age, played a huge role in skyrocketing Lana Condor to fame, establishing her as a new generation rom-com icon. Similarly, Crazy Rich Asians delighted audiences by injecting exoticism and diversity into the mix, charming viewers with its lush settings and an ensemble of characters far more endearing than their overflowing bank accounts. The global enthusiasm for the film confirmed a fundamental truth: romantic comedies remain a safe bet, as long as they showcase fresh faces and underrepresented cultures. This evolution stems from a conscious effort to leave behind outdated cliches. The rom-coms of yesteryear often relied on the trope of the passive heroine, waiting for Prince Charming's validation to fully realize her potential. Today, audiences demand love stories where women are not merely waiting in the wings for a knight in shining armor to rescue them from loneliness. Writers have infused their scripts with contemporary values, featuring empowered heroines, LGBTQIA characters, and couples from diverse communities. This push for inclusivity isn't just a marketing strategy, audiences genuinely see themselves reflected in these multifaceted stories, which resonate on a deeper level. Online conversations frequently highlight how this shift allows viewers to laugh and dream while engaging with themes that shape their everyday lives. The success of these films, often produced on modest budgets, shouldn't obscure the fact that romance has long been one of Hollywood's most enduring pillars. Studios know that during times of crisis or uncertainty, audiences seek out reassuring narratives where happy endings remain within reach, even if the journey to get there is fraught with challenges. Financial models consistently show that a well-promoted romantic comedy can yield substantial profits both in theaters and on streaming platforms. This realization has spurred Netflix to greenlight a flurry of projects in the genre, convinced that the viral impact of a few memorable romantic scenes can trigger endless cycles of recommendations. This strategy continues to pay off. A lighthearted film released on a Friday often tops the weekend's trending charts, buoyed by subscribers eager for a few hours of escapism. At the same time, it's clear that audiences no longer settle for cookie-cutter love stories. A new wave of romantic comedies features endings that are less definitive or tinged with bittersweet irony, reminding viewers that love isn't a magical cure-all. Some attribute this shift to a generation raised with greater uncertainty about job stability, the environment, or even interpersonal relationships. Acknowledging this, producers have begun granting directors more leeway to explore bolder tones or open-ended conclusions. Far from undermining the genre's warmth, these nuances add emotional depth, attracting viewers who relate to realistic characters and contemporary dilemmas. Films like Always Be My Maybe or the Kissing Booth series have each contributed to redefining the genre, reflecting a rapidly evolving society that no longer identifies with the conventions of the past. The ways we consume these stories have also transformed dramatically. Binge watching has become central to modern romance, turning theatrical releases into an event for major titles while allowing streaming platforms to provide the comfort of curling up on the couch for a marathon. Of fictional love stories, this shift in consumption has heightened the demand for innovation. Chemistry between two lovable leads is no longer enough. Films must surprise, amuse, and resonate differently to avoid disappearing in the vast sea of available content. Beneath the laughter and grand romantic gestures lies a deeper reason why romantic comedies remain so vital. They serve as an emotional release, a less explosive escape than thrillers or action-packed sagas, but one that's infinitely more comforting for anyone yearning to believe that, even in a chaotic world, love can still triumph. Audiences identify easily with these imperfect, often clumsy heroes whose lives mirror their own, minus the series of improbable events that punctuate the plot. This connection, where viewers see themselves in the missteps of a first date or the vulnerability of a heartfelt confession, reinforces the genre's appeal. Social media platforms like Twitter and Instagram are brimming with reactions to touching scenes or unexpected twists, proving that even self-proclaimed skeptics often find themselves swept up in these stories. Call it the latte love effect, where a rom-com warms the soul like a sweet drink on a winter afternoon. In a landscape fatigued by excessive cynicism, audiences welcome these festive interludes that soften the edges of everyday life, encouraging streaming platforms to double down on producing ever more modern love stories. The next evolution of the genre could delve into even more universal issues. Some films are already exploring themes like familial pressure, class disparities, or cultural divides without losing the lightheartedness essential to the format. This trajectory is well underway, and the enthusiastic reception from audiences suggests that romantic comedies are far from becoming stale. Sure, some might long for the days of Hugh Grant bumbling through Notting Hill with his awkward grin and tousled hair, set to a syrupy soundtrack that melted even the hardest hearts. Those films will no doubt endure as nostalgic treasures for those who first discovered them during their teenage years. Meanwhile, the new generation of rom-coms is shaping up, enriched by the complexities of our modern world. Between the promise of love under the lanterns of a neighborhood festival and the late-night confessions after a breakup, romantic comedies seem poised to thrive for years to come. As long as audiences seek a patch of pink sky to escape their gray realities, and as long as filmmakers continue to rekindle the sparks of emotion that make even the most reluctant believe in love, this genre will remain timeless. And there you have it, the end of our cinematic odyssey. From the fervor of the Golden Globes and their occasionally surprising speeches, to the unconventional brilliance of Nolan, Villeneuve, and Gerwig. From the mesmerizing aesthetics of Wes Anderson to the electrifying gravitas of Paul Thomas Anderson, and not forgetting the wave of modern romantic comedies that continuously reinvent love on screen, cinema proves, once again, that it has never been more vibrant or diverse. It's this remarkable ability to reinvent itself that makes every new film a potential love affair, a source of inspiration, or the spark for a heated debate about societal themes. And if the glitz and glamour continue to captivate, perhaps it's because, deep down, we all need to believe in a little magic, even and especially in a world that's changing at breakneck speed. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Cappuccino and Croissant. If you enjoy my take on the latest cinema news with a dash of sarcasm and a hearty helping of good humor, don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, leave a rating, and share a comment to let me know. Are you team blockbuster or team auteur film? You can also follow me on social media to keep up with all my latest musings and adventures. And if you're craving more, head over to my official website, capcroissantmedia.com. There, you'll find my merch shop as well as my books, including The Art of Intellectual Contempt and the short story collection Neomart at Axica S Installation. The latter lays the foundation for a dystopian universe that will soon expand into a full trilogy. So, are you ready to embark on new adventures? I'll be waiting for you in the next episode. All right, take care.